Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese. Ghostly Tales from Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you a story called Fourth Sister Who. There was a scholar surnamed Shang from Taishan, and for convenience, let's call him Shangsheng. To focus on his studies, Shangsheng lived alone in a simple study. One autumn night, under the radiant Milky Way and the high-hanging bright moon, Shangsheng strolled alone among the flowers and trees, lost in contemplation. Suddenly, a woman appeared, leaping over the wall. She smiled and said to Shangsheng, "What are you, the scholar, thinking about? Why are you so absorbed in your thoughts?" Intrigued by the voice, Shangsheng approached and discovered that the newcomer was an exceptionally beautiful woman. Astonished and delighted, he embraced her, and they entered the study, indulging in intimacy. The woman introduced herself, saying, "My surname is Hu, and you can call me Third Sister." When Shangsheng asked where she lived, she only smiled, refusing to answer. Understanding her reluctance, Shangsheng stopped pressing her, hoping to be with her forever. From then on, the woman visited Shangsheng every night. One night, under the lamplight, Third Sister Hu and Shangsheng sat close together. Because Shangsheng was so fond of Third Sister Hu, he couldn't help but stare at her intently. Third Sister Hu, with a smile, said, "Why are you staring at me so fixedly?" Shangsheng replied, "I see you as radiant as the red peony and beautiful as the green peach blossom. Even if I gaze at you all night, it wouldn't be enough." Third Sister Hu teased, "For someone as plain looking as me, to catch your attention like this. If you meet my sister, Fourth Sister Hu, I wonder how infatuated you'll become." Shangsheng, feeling even more stirred, couldn't wait to meet Fourth Sister Hu. He knelt down and begged Third Sister Hu to introduce him to her sister as soon as possible. Another night passed, and as expected, Third Sister Hu brought Fourth Sister Hu with her. The latter was around 15 or 16 years old, with a face as delicate and moist as dew-kissed lotus petals or the tender apricot blossoms bathed in mist. A charming smile revealed infinite charm and beauty. Shangsheng couldn't contain his joy and quickly invited them to sit. While Third Sister Hu engaged in cheerful conversation with Shangsheng, Fourth Sister Hu kept her head down, playing with the embroidered ribbon around her waist. After a short while, Third Sister Hu decided to leave, and Fourth Sister Hu planned to follow her back. However, Shangsheng firmly held on to Fourth Sister Hu, not allowing her to leave. He pleaded with Third Sister Hu, "Help me persuade her to stay." Third Sister laughed and said, "Look at you, impatient lover. Girl, stay a bit longer." Without saying anything, Fourth Sister Hu stayed as Third Sister Hu left. That night, Shangsheng and Fourth Sister Hu enjoyed each other's company. Later, they lay side by side, sharing their life stories without reservation. Fourth sister Hu revealed to Shangsheng that she was actually a fox spirit. Due to Shangsheng's deep love for her beauty, he wasn't surprised. Fourth sister Hu continued, "My sister is malicious and has already caused the death of 3 people. If someone is enchanted by her, there's no escape from death. I am fortunate to be loved by you, and I can't bear to see you die. You should sever ties with her as soon as possible." Shangsheng, feeling frightened, begged fourth sister Hu for a solution. She said, "Though I am a fox, I have learned the magic of immortals. I can put a talisman on your bedroom door, preventing her from entering." So, fourth sister Hu wrote a talisman for Shangsheng. The next morning, when third sister Hu arrived, she saw the talisman and dared not enter. She spoke from outside the door. "You ungrateful girl! You forget the matchmaker who brought you together. Since you two are destined, I won't hold a grudge against you. But why did you have to do this?" With that, she helplessly left. After a few days, fourth sister Hu had some matters to attend to elsewhere and agreed to meet Shangsheng again the following night. On that day, feeling a bit bored, Shangsheng decided to go out for a stroll. He arrived at a dense grove of oak trees on the mountainside and noticed a graceful-looking woman emerging from the thick foliage. She approached Shangsheng and said, "Why should you indulge in infatuating yourself with the Hu sisters? Even if they are beautiful, they haven't given you a single penny." As she spoke, she took out a string of coins and gave them to Shangsheng. The woman then said, "Take these coins back first, buy some good wine. I will later bring some snacks and dishes to enjoy with you." Shangsheng returned to his residence with the money and followed the woman's instructions. Before long, the woman did arrive, placing a roasted chicken and a salted pork elbow on a small table. She then skillfully cut them into bite-sized pieces with a knife. The woman and Shangsheng drank, joked, and enjoyed a pleasant time together. Later, they extinguished the lamp, got into bed, and indulged in intimacy and revelry. It wasn't until daylight that they rose from bed. Just as the woman sat at the bedside putting on her shoes, they suddenly heard voices outside the door. Upon closer listening, they realized someone had entered the canopy and, to their surprise, it was the Hu sisters. The woman hastily fled upon seeing them, leaving behind the shoes she hadn't had time to put on. The Hu sisters scolded the woman's back, accusing her of daring to sleep with someone. They chased her, and after some time, returned. Fourth sister Hu reproached Shangsheng, saying, "You are really worthless, pairing up with that vixen. I can't be close to you anymore." Saying this, she angrily intended to leave. Shangsheng, frightened, knelt on the ground, desperately pleading with her not to be angry. Third sister Hu also intervened and calmed down fourth sister Hu's anger. From then on, they continued their relationship as before. One day, a man from Shangxi arrived at Shangsheng's doorstep riding a donkey. As soon as he arrived, he loudly exclaimed, "I've been searching for you fox spirits everywhere for quite some time. Finally, I've found you." Shangsheng's father, hearing the man's strange words, inquired why he was saying such things. The man replied, "I roam the mountains and waters daily, traveling far and wide. For 8 or 9 months a year, I am away from my hometown. Unfortunately, due to my negligence, my brother was bewitched and killed by a fox spirit. I returned home filled with grief and anger, vowing to find and kill that fox spirit. Now, after traveling thousands of miles, I still haven't found its trace. And now, the fox spirit is in your house. If I don't eliminate it today, someone else will surely be killed like my brother in the future." At that time, Shangsheng had an intimate relationship with the Hu sisters, and his parents had some awareness of it. Hearing the guest's words, they naturally became very frightened. So, Shangsheng's parents immediately invited the guest inside, pleading with him to perform his magical arts. The guest took out 2 bottles and placed them on the ground, then drew symbols and chanted incantations. After a long while, 4 dark clouds were separated and entered the bottles. The guest joyfully pointed at the bottles and said, "The entire family of that fox spirit is here." He then sealed the bottles tightly with pig bladder, securing the bottle openings. Shangsheng's father was also delighted and insisted on treating the guest to a meal. However, Shangsheng felt uneasy. Approaching the bottles to sneak a peek, he heard 4th Sister Hu speaking to him from inside. "You watched without helping. How can you be so heartless?" Distressed, Shangsheng hurriedly tried to open the sealed bottles, but the knots were tied tightly, and he couldn't untie them. 4th Sister Hu said again, "You don't need to untie the knots. Just knock down the flag on the altar, then use a needle to puncture the pig bladder, and I'll be able to come out." Shangsheng followed 4th Sister Hu's instructions, and indeed, he saw a wisp of white vapor escaping through the hole and ascending into the sky. When the man from Shangxi emerged, he saw the fallen flag and exclaimed, "The fox spirit escaped. It must be your doing, sir." Then, he bent down to shake the bottles, carefully listened, and breathed a sigh of relief, saying, "Fortunately, only one escaped. This creature hasn't done anything wrong. It shouldn't die. I can forgive it." So, the man from Shangxi carried the bottles and bid farewell. One day, Shangsheng was supervising the laborers harvesting wheat in the fields when he suddenly saw 4th Sister Hu sitting under a tree in the distance. Shangsheng walked briskly towards her, took her hand, and greeted her. 4th Sister Hu said, "Since we parted last time, 10 spring and autumns have passed. Now, I have cultivated into a fox immortal. However, because I still miss you, my heart cannot let go of you. So today, I've come to see you again." Shangsheng wanted to bring 4th Sister Hu back home, but she said, I have changed over the years and can no longer be entangled in worldly emotions. However, we will meet again in the future." After saying this, she disappeared. Over 20 years later, Shang Sheng was sitting alone in his house when he suddenly saw fourth sister Hu coming in from outside. Shang Sheng happily approached her to talk. Fourth sister Hu said to him, "I have now ascended to the ranks of immortals and shouldn't have come back to the mortal world. But I am grateful for your affection, so I came specially to tell you the time of your death. You can take care of your affairs in advance. Don't be sad, I will guide you to become a ghost immortal, so you won't have to endure the suffering of reincarnation." After saying this, she bid farewell and left. On the day predicted by fourth sister Hu, Shang Sheng indeed passed away. In the story, Shang Sheng is a relative and close friend of my friend Li Wenyu. Li Wenyu told me that he personally witnessed this incident. Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tale. Fourth sister Hu. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please also encourage everyone to comment and share more. We'll see you in the next episode.